All right, we'll get started here in just a few minutes with Coach Cumbie. As a reminder, just use the raise your hand feature or send me a text message if you're wanting to get in line for a question. And there he is. So we'll go ahead and get started. And we'll start with Mason.
Hey, Coach. First and foremost, you get any sleep last night?
Oh yeah, we did. Yeah, we finally wound down at my household. The boys were pretty worn out. You know, Hayes had a big Super Bowl victory, so the Cumbie family was 2-0 yesterday. So we were able to finally to wind down. You know, late last night.
Right on. I was just hoping to maybe get a quick status update on Henry, maybe see how he's feeling.
I think there's a chance that Henry will be available this week.
Okay. And looking forward, I know we're a long way from Saturday, but after a performance like Donovan had in that game, is he penciled in, I guess, right now as a starter?
He's the starting quarterback. Yes, Donovan's the starting quarterback.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Just as a reminder, use the raise your hand feature if you're wanting to ask a question. We'll go to Ben Golan.
Coach, that last sequence when Iowa State had the ball down 3 in the red zone and you were taking timeouts and you were trying to motivate the defense, what was your message to them to try to get that last stop?
Well, the first reason we were taking the timeouts was really to conserve time. So when we did get the ball back, we would have enough time to go down on the field and ultimately kick a field goal or score points, which, you never envision it being a 62-yard field goal. But that was the first reason we were taking timeouts, was just to conserve time. Preston Pearson does a great job on the sideline with really the situational mastery football stuff that comes up. And then the other message I had to the defense was just to remember the SFA game. I mean, they did a great job at the end of that football game. They ended the game, putting pressure on the quarterback. They ended the game with sacks, and so really just trying to encourage them and to motivate them. And that's really what I can do for them, is just to try to provide some energy and encouragement to them. So that was really the reasoning behind the timeouts. Really was just to keep time on the clock for us, and we had a minute left to go, and we got the ball back.
Go to Ronald Clark.
Coach, obviously going into that game, you guys were sort of the underdog with everything going on, obviously on and off the field for you guys. But how much of a confidence booster was it to go out there and sort of, prove all the naysayers wrong, but also prove it to yourself that you're able to play at that level?
I think it was we talked to our team the last 2 weeks about the type of team we have when we play on all 4 sides of the ball, being special teams, defense, offense, and the sideline. We had great sideline energy, and we really played well off each other last night. Our team handled adversity very well throughout the course of the game. When the momentum was going against us, they continued to stay together and stay the course. And so I think it's just a reminder to our players that we have a pretty good football team when we play on all 4 sides of the ball together. It's just those moments up until last night, they haven't been as much as we wanted, but we have a really good team when we play well together. And I think they saw that last night. I think they're starting to believe it a little bit more, and hopefully we can continue to stack success upon each other. That's the greatest challenge is so many teams and so many people handle success far worse than they handle failure. So we got to be able to handle success.
And with that win, obviously becoming bowl eligible, how much more, for lack of better words, free will that allow you guys to play the rest of the season, obviously knowing that, you're not necessarily chasing that one win to become bowl eligible?
Well, I think our guys are playing pretty free right now as is.
We'll go to Joe Yeager.
Yeah, Coach, now that Jonathan has demonstrated that he's got 60-plus yard range, is that going to change your strategy offensively from here on out? I mean, once you cross over the 50-yard line, knowing, potentially you got 3 points in your hip pocket right there?
Well, I think that going back and kind of coming down off of the game and the emotion of everything, that the 4th and 3 that we went for, I should have kicked a field goal there. The 4th and 1, I would have done the same thing, gone in terms of going for it. Obviously I would have called something differently. You call one of those plays that works on 4th and 1. You don't want to call the ones that don't work. But no, the play call on 4th and 1 was I would do differently, based off the personnel. And really, and what I mean by that is you got some young guys at tight end that haven't played as many live action, and that's a big time moment, a big time game. And our job as coaches is to put players in position to be successful. And so the 4th and 3 definitely would have kicked another field goal there, put some distance between us and Iowa State, and given us a little bit more momentum, because those last 2 series there, we did move the ball very well. But I think, with Jonathan, we have a lot of confidence in him, in terms of our aggressiveness of going for 4th downs, your play calls on 3rd and medium to 3rd and short, and sometimes 3rd and long. Some of that has a lot to do with the mindset of, hey, we're going to go for it on 4th and down, and you're trying to get into 4th and go situations. So I do think for me, Joseph, it was a good reminder of, hey, we have an exceptional kicker that can get us points, and to keep that in the forefront of my mind in those situations.
Go to Don Williams.
Hey, Sonny, on quarterbacks for a moment. So what is your expectations for Tyler then this week? And has he gotten medical clearance yet to play in a game?
Yeah, no, Tyler has not received medical clearance to play, and I would anticipate Tyler being out the rest of the regular season. Henry will be available,
Okay.
And then Donovan will be our starting quarterback. Barron had a great week of practice last week, and we have Parker McNeil available, and also Maverick McIver.
Yeah. So did Tyler have any kind of a setback, or is it just not quite there and won't be there, won't be healed in the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, no setback, Don. He hasn't had a setback. It just hasn't healed, and it's just something that when it gets healed up well enough, then you'll be able to proceed.
Also, your tight end situation. What were Mason and Henry out with yesterday, and what happened with Travis, as you were down to look like Jed and I guess Jason at the end of the game?
Yeah, we were down to Jed Castles and Jason Lloyd at the end of the game. Coons got a little dinged up, and the same with Mason. I anticipate Mason. I would think that he would be back this week. The same with Henry Teeter. And those guys, it's just really the wear and tear of this season, especially from Mason, younger guy who's played a ton of snaps and in a very, very, very physical position. And the same with Teeter. Those guys, just the physicality of their positions, I think kind of caught up to them a little bit. And, they needed really a week to get their shoulders back and kind of get their legs back underneath of them.
And what did Travis have? And what is he? What's his availability for this week?
His availability for this week is really still up in the air, depending on how he recovers. He got hit pretty hard in the head, and so that's kind of what we're evaluating.
Go to Ronald Clark.
Coach, I know we talked about it a little bit after the game last night, and you mentioned in that obviously the game was more about the kids and, getting them to a bowl game. But for the coaches, that standpoint, you guys are sort of in a way, working for a future job now, or coaching for a future job now. What did that win mean to you guys?
It meant a great deal. It meant a great deal for our players to have that success, for these guys to be able to go to a bowl game. And I think that it's a reflection of the leadership of all those position coaches and of Coach Patterson on defense and Coach Tomerdahl on special teams. It's a direct reflection of their leadership and their ability to continue to pour into and to continue to lead kids when a lot of things are maybe telling them not to. And they're just stand-up men with a lot of character and a lot of integrity.
Go to Bradey King.
Yeah, Sonny, I know you saw a lot of what this team maybe is capable of yesterday. What more do you want to see from them this upcoming week?
Being able to, like we talked about a little bit earlier, handling success. I think that's the challenge for us is to be able to stack, successful weeks on top of each other. And that's a challenge that you don't sit around and listen to, the great things that happened last night. I mean, we try to put that to bed today. I mean, to celebrate it because it's winning is very hard, like I said last night, and now it's time to move on. It's time to move on to a very, very, very good Oklahoma State team. Has a very good offense, very good defense. They're dangerous on special teams in the return game, and so that is our challenge, Bradey, this week is to try to continue to stack successful weeks and to play really hard and to play really passionate and physical football with a great amount of execution.
Do we have any other questions? We'll go to Chuck Heinz real quick. I believe I see him raising his hand.
Yes, sir. Hey, Coach, I was just curious if you saw anything that stood out differently after you looked at the film versus what you saw on the field last night.
On offense or just in
Yeah,
general?
just on offense and maybe just in general with your team.
I think one of the things that it stuck out to me is just getting, Donovan, game conditioning, his first game to start. We played 67 snaps and expend a lot of emotion and a lot of energy in the first half. And so being able to get him, prepared and really sometimes the only way you can do that is to play, in terms of that amount of snaps, in terms of his eyes, in terms of where they're at in the progressions have to be better. Those are the little things of the position in terms of Donovan. Our offensive line played extremely physical. They played really, really hard. Our running backs, all three of them made significant contributions. Xavier White didn't get a carry, but he made probably two of the most important plays of the game in the fourth quarter of getting out of bounds. Just really, really heads up plays by him. As Akama continues to be uncovered. I mean, nobody can cover the guy. He's the best receiver in our league, probably one of the best in the conference. And as I say that, you guys are all thinking, well, why don't you throw him the ball more? And when we need to, and we will. And so, KG had some opportunities down the field. I think they did a nice job of playing coverage over the top on him. And then Donovan found Eric a lot of times on the sideline, on the comeback route. And then I was really impressed with how our defensive line really handled the line of scrimmage. I mean, 8 of 10 opponents that we played this year on defense, we've held under 100 yards. Brees Hall, besides our number 28, is arguably the best running back in the league. And he didn't rush very much. He had under 100 yards. And I think you could tell by how he was running the ball. He didn't look like he really wanted to run against our front very much, to be honest. In our return game, Adrian Fry made a huge return on punt return. We should have made points off that on offense. But otherwise, our special teams, they really helped us win the football game. And so those are the things, Chuck, that, you come down off of and you have a chance to really look at it and to study it. That I would say that just the energy that our guys played with and the passion that they played with was really tremendous.
Thank you.
We'll close with Ronald Clark.
Just a quick look ahead, Coach. What are you expecting to see out of Oklahoma State?
Yeah, I mean, last night we had a bird's eye view of what happens, when if you don't come ready to play. And offensively, they do a great job in the run game. Their running back, Warren, has had a great year. Spencer Sanders continues to make plays. He's really sneaky. He's a playmaker with his arm. He's a playmaker as far as extending plays and really, really a gutsy quarterback. Their receiver, I think Tay Wilson is a really good player. They do a nice job with their cowboy back, number 90. And so on offense, I don't think what they do is schematically, they're just really good at it. And defensively, they've got so many seniors on that side of the ball that have played a lot of football. Coach Knowles has done a great job of being multiple with his fronts and his coverages, which when you have older players, that allows you to do that. And I think they're playing, that's what we talked about on offense is this was our best offensive performance of the season. We did it against a team that's probably top 15 in the country on defense. We had more points and we had more yards against any team had against Iowa State last night. And that's our challenge again this week because we play another probably top 10 defense in Oklahoma State. And they're really good. And in terms of their defensive line, they're hard to move. They can really, disrupt your running game in terms of TFLs, and they can attack the quarterback. So we're going to have a huge challenge. And then in their return game, they got a dangerous returner in the punt game, punt return and kick return. So the road doesn't get any easier. And then we got, the next week you have Baylor. And, but, as coaches and players, you always like a good challenge.
All right. Thank y'all for joining us tonight. We will have our Tuesday press conference at 12:15. Thank you.
Y'all have a good Sunday night.
Thank you. You too.